what it is. Every revolution or every political movement or any kind of change, and having someone, okay, CIA, which is fucking for you to call me CIA when you know I'm not.
Everything was politicized. It was, oh, this is when we became the left versus the right. But both sides are trash. In COVID,
his own thing. So it seems to be that money's the issue, that like we're using money and that's how politics is being pushed. Because now we've seen what someone does when they use their own money and it doesn't seem to be a solution. So I feel like we take money out of politics, we'll have a much better political system.
Politician, you think they're gonna come out and tell me the truth? They was lying to my mama. They ain't gonna never tell us.
So everybody, we look at certain things just because, oh, this happens in the hood or we see this every day. All the way up. These people were speaking truth. King, we could talk X, we could talk it all. They were speaking truth.
What's going on in anyone's mind, but let's take it as a given that Gray's argument is true, that the argument to not have ID is that it would be discriminatory versus certain socioeconomic brackets or something. It's like
the world's greatest trial run of what people will do and what people won't do. And we are the only country on the planet that really fought against the government. A lot of it,
because you focus on 80-20 issues. I'm looking at the Epstein issue as we have 80% of the information we need to prosecute these people that actually did anything, but you're focusing on the 20% trying to take down Donald Trump, which you're never going to get. So I'm going to keep sitting here with a smug-ass face on every single day.
I'll explain. Good question. I'll give you the answer. The Republican Party constantly talks about transgenders and transgender surgery to minors.
I'm mostly on the left, ideologically, but I don't associate with the Democrats because they're not ideologically on the left. The Democrats are clowns, and they're also losers.
About to be any engaging conversation. It's not about to be any discourse about different political ideologies, what works and what doesn't. If that is the outcome, right? For example, I'm not gonna go and just put myself in the middle of a KKK rally.
Verify me, I'm not a fucking Fed. They always do this. I'll say this, right? But they did the same thing to Nick. We've seen the video. They'll call people who are genuine and authentic Feds because
the interesting thing to me is that the ones that claim that they believe the Constitution are now trampling the Constitution. The ones that said they believed in the First Amendment, the freedom of speech, right, are now going against the freedom of speech. The ones that...
So to see and hear this strong, compelling speech with emotion, I think that's extremely important for young men to see from a leadership perspective.
They'll have no plan. They'll never talk about nothing positive about the Democrat Party. Everything is just anti-Trump. They're not willing to have a conversation. They call us fascists. We're willing to have a conversation. Charlie Kirk's willing to have a conversation.
News rocking Washington, D.C. Never before seen emails released this morning by Democrats on the House Oversight Committee, raising new questions about President Trump's relationship with convicted sex trafficker Jeffrey Epstein. The emails provided to Congress by the Epstein estate show private correspondence between Epstein and his accomplice Ghislaine Maxwell and between Epstein and author Michael Wolff, with multiple references to Trump. all raising more questions about what Trump knew and when. Epstein writing in a 2011 email to Maxwell that Trump, quote, spent hours at his house with a sex trafficking victim. Epstein calls Trump in this email a, quote, dog that hasn't barked. We should note it's not clear what exactly Epstein meant by those comments. Let's bring in MSNBC Justice and Intelligence reporter Ken Delanian. Ken, take us through what these emails say and their significance.
Good morning, Anna. Well, the one you just read is perhaps the most important one because it was written by Jeffrey Epstein in 2011, long before Donald Trump's political career, and he used the phrase, the dog that hasn't barked. That's a phrase from a Sherlock Holmes story suggesting a clue. And he says that the dog that hasn't barked is Trump. Redacted name of a victim, spent hours at my house with him. He's never once been mentioned. And then he uses the phrase police chief, etc. So these emails, essentially what they do is they raise new questions about Donald Trump's longstanding contention that he had no knowledge of Jeffrey Epstein's massive sex trafficking operation. These emails suggest that they don't suggest that Donald Trump was part of it. They suggest, though, that he may have known about it. There was another email written years later to Michael Wolff, the author from Jeffrey Epstein. And the context here appears to be about Jeffrey Epstein being kicked out of the Mar-a-Lago golf club. Epstein says, Trump said he asked me to resign. Never remember ever. And then he adds, of course, he knew about the girls as he asked Ghislaine to stop. And then the third email is between Wolff and Epstein, and it's about Wolff telling Epstein that he believes that Trump will be asked in an interview, this is in 2015 as he's running for president, about his relationship with Epstein. And Epstein asked Wolff, if I were able to craft an answer for him, what do you think it should be? Now, that, of course, suggests that Epstein would be in communication with Trump and would be helping him craft an answer to a media question. And then Wolff answers, I think you should let him hang himself. If he says he hasn't been on the plane or to the House, then that gives you a valuable PR and political currency. You can hang him in a way that potentially generates a positive benefit for you, or if it really looks like he could win, you could save him generating a debt. So again, that suggests that Wolff and Epstein believe that Trump was more involved or has more knowledge of Epstein's operation than he was letting on. Again, none of this is definitive, but this adds to the picture and adds to the questions that both Republicans and Democrats have about what exactly Donald Trump knew about Jeffrey Epstein's crimes and his sex trafficking of both minors and non-minors.
Slim, what do you think about the emails that just came out?
Another case of delusional bullshit, and another case of deflecting, another case of look over here, don't look over there. Like, bro, come on, man. When are you guys gonna realize these people are playing you, bro? Like, the media is straight playing you. And you either gotta be, like my man Ace said, delusional, stupid, or gay to follow the Democratic Party. That's just what it is. Why all of a sudden, bro? The email came out in 2011. They just now found it after all this fucking investigation. These are the emails that came out right when the government opens, right when you guys are being exposed that you fucking created the fucking shutdown. That's all I'm saying, bro. Start looking between the lines.
Doc, what you think about the emails?
I think it's terrible time, and I think it's convenient timing for somebody to release the emails. But I would disagree with Slim, and I think they made a point on one thing when they said he hasn't been like said to have done anything, but they believe that looking at the emails that he knows, I don't think that's exclusive to Trump. I think everybody in that class and in that tier, I think all of those guys had some win. They heard things, they had an idea, they knew somewhat of what was going on. And that's not an exclusive thing to Trump. I think those people who were in that group, I think they all had a little bit of knowledge or an idea or heard rumblings of what was going on. But when you're up there and you're making that type of money, they all decided they go mind their business.
But Doc, the reality is the people only want to see Trump's name. That's it.
I agree. But I don't to think that Trump hadn't heard anything, nothing. Nobody whispered nothing. It wasn't no backdoor conversation. Nobody said nothing. Like, he just was like completely caught off guard and, it was something for the blue. I think all of those dudes in that bracket, in that group, in that class, I think they all had some idea of what was going on.
So I'm gonna play his actual disposition. I'm gonna have Mia respond. So let's hear from the man himself about what he said about Trump.
Ever had a personal relationship with Donald Trump?
What do you mean by personal relationships?
Have you socialized with him?
Yes, sir.
Yes?
Yes, sir.
Have you ever socialized with Donald Trump in the presence of females under the age of 18?
Though I'd like to answer that question, at least today, I'm going to have to assert my 5th, 6th, and 14th Amendment rights, sir.
Okay, Mia, disposition is civil, so it's not a criminal case. But you have to answer the questions because it's civil. So do you feel like Epstein invoking his 5th Amendment in that video, does that implicate Trump or make Trump look more guilty? And how do you feel about the emails overall?
I would say, what's going on with Donald Trump, Epstein, the Epstein files is death by 1,000 cuts. So there's actually no real definitive proof as of now. There is nothing to prove that he was complicit in anything to do with Epstein Island, Miss Maxwell and her human trafficking. There's literally no proof. There's no charges. There's nothing. There's no DNA. There's no fingerprints. There's literally no actual proof at this point in time. But it's death by 1,000 cuts because all you got to do is whisper here, whisper there, release 3 emails that are perfectly timed to cloud and have doubt. I'm I agree with both Slim and Doc at the same time. I think at the end of the day, we're never going to know the full scope because the powers that be don't want us to know. I mean, Biden administration had these for years and they didn't release them. I mean, I think Obama might have had them for a year. And then, we've had this information and they've never released it. And all of those girls, I believe at least 20 of those victims all stated the same thing, that Donald Trump was not there with them. So as of right now, we have no actual proof. I will say him asserting his 5th Amendment right is suspicious at least. However, I don't know the year for which which that was made. Do we know the year that deposition took place?
I can look it up. I'm not.
I think it said 2010 in the video, right? I think the video said 2010.
Okay, 2010.
Well, because I know down in Florida, the Tampa, Miami area down there, whatever, they have a lot of business dealings. So he may not want to sully or throw dirt on Trump's name because at the time, I know they had a business relationship. So, it could have been purely self-preservation to keep the money flowing, especially snitches get stitches and rich people don't like to be snitched on. Why do you think that crazy craft lady didn't snitch on nobody and just went to that white collar prison? When she did her insider trading, she didn't snitch. She shut up, did her bid, and got out.
Martha Stewart.
Yes. So, she didn't snitch on nobody. She did the bid, even though it was a walk in the park. She didn't snitch. She knows the deal. There's no, these rich people operate semi to the street operates. Nobody snitches, even if you don't know. Because at the end of the day, you're going to need that relationship somehow. And once you ruin that loyalty or that relationship, or people view you as a rat, that's it.
Well, if you with somebody rich, that means they can pay to send them hitters at you. So you definitely got to walk.
That too. That too. You're not wrong with that.
But Heaven, I know you've been waiting on this topic for it seems like years. Even when we talk about something totally different, you bring this up. So here's your time to shine. How do you feel about the Epstein list and about the dog that won't bark?
First of all, I'm going to say that's not all the files. I would like all of the files. We're talking about transparency. Let's be fucking transparent then. And any Republican, any Christian that supports Trump, I don't want to hear not one fucking word out of your goddamn mouth. If you are going to make excuses, I don't want to hear protect the kids. All lives. I don't want to hear none of that. because apparently victims' lives don't matter, but rich people's do, and rapists do, pedophiles do. I don't care what side they're on. The reason that none of those people released those files was because they're in them too. Wake the fuck up. It's not all about Trump. Trump is one guy. One fucking guy. Out of all the people who went on that island and molested children, fuck out of my face. Fuck out of my face with this shit.
Okay. So we're gonna actually hear from Epstein survivor. People are saying that she was alluding to Trump. I'll play the clip.
Donald Trump, is it right, through Ghislaine Maxwell?
I did, yes, and I met him on several occasions. Ghislaine Maxwell did introduce me to him, and she introduced me to him with a clear message of my being with him in the same way that she had trafficked me and brought me to Jeffrey Epstein.
Doc hearing directly from the victim saying that Trump was supposed to be doing the same thing that Jeffrey Epstein was doing, does it make Trump look more guilty of this crime?
I ain't heard Trump was supposed to be doing nothing. She ain't said Trump was supposed to be doing nothing. She ain't said nothing.
Well, she basically said Ghislaine Maxwell introduced them. And
she basically said, shit, you on national TV. Like, if you going to tell it, you might as well tell it. Like, you know what I'm saying? I think that's my problem with catching some of these people. Like, if you're going to tell it, you might as well just tell it. Like, you know what I'm saying?
And then you get got like Charlie Kirk did.
But then what's the point of getting up there saying, anything if you're not going to say it all then? If you're afraid of the repercussions, say
because
nothing.
like Mia said, death by 1,000 cuts. We're sitting here arguing. The American people are arguing back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. That's the purpose.
What I'm saying is I heard nothing from what she just said. I got nothing from it. Like, she didn't say Trump. She didn't say nobody's name. She said Ghislaine wanted me to be with them in the same way I was with Jeffrey Epstein. It could have been talking about the paper boy. She could have been talking about the milkman. I didn't give Trump to me. She could, if they saying this list is bad.
Did he say Trump did like with the before?
She
said it was about Trump.
She basically said Ghislaine Maxwell introduced her to Trump, expecting the same.
She didn't say Trump. She didn't say Trump. Now,
what
we
she
were
say?
just there watching the set. She didn't say shit. That's what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
come on.
That's
Trump.
my
The guy
problem.
asked her to say Trump. But you know what? We're not just gonna go in on Trump today. We also gonna talk about the other people that's been implicated in
Did
this.
y'all hear Trump?
Did
you hear Trump, Mia? Hold on, Mia. Did you hear her say Trump?
She did not say Trump. She is alluding to Trump, but that's what they do because none of them want to be sued for defamation because there's no actual science there, right? So what we're looking for is science. We need fingerprints. We need semen samples. We need rape kits. We need science. We need something definitive. But what makes me angry is like these people keep talking all this crap, but it's like somebody needs to stand 10 toes down and say, hey, this happened. I saved the dress. I don't know. I mean, whatever, dude. It's just so annoying because Donald Trump he's a pig. He is a pig. But the fact that these people are too pussy to stand 10 toes down and tell the real story with real names and stand by the business, we are never going to know. So right now, we just have a president who's kind of a pig, which is fine because most men are. But I mean, I really wish there was somebody or a group of people that if this is true, they would just stand those 10 toes down needed because right now it's just slander. And eventually he's going to get angry. He's going to start suing people.
Well, let's look at who else was accused of being on Epstein Island because this is a big person. People love talking about this guy being there.
You know, it was also widely reported that Bill had a friendship or business or some kind of contact with Jeffrey Epstein and that you were not, that was very upsetting to you. Did that play a role in the divorce at all in this process?
Yeah, as I said, it's not one thing. It was many things. But I did not like that he'd had meetings with Jeffrey Epstein, no.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And you made that clear to him?
I made that clear to him. I also met Jeffrey Epstein exactly one time.
Did you?
Yes, because I wanted to see who this man was. And I regretted it from the second I stepped in the door. He was abhorrent. He was evil personified. I had nightmares about it afterwards. So, my heart breaks for these young women because that's how I felt. And here I'm an older woman. My God, I feel terrible for those young women. It's awful.
You felt that the moment you walked in. I didn't
He was
realize
awful.
that. Yeah. And you shared that with Bill, and he still continued to spend time with him?
Any of the questions remaining about what Bill's relationship there was, those are for Bill to answer.
Okay.
But I made it very clear how I felt about him.
Mm-hmm.
Slim. So she's talking about Bill Gates. Bill Gates was her husband. Bill was there. So, I mean, do you feel like Bill Gates is guilty?
Man, anybody that was on that island is guilty. What I'm saying is it's a distraction because that information should have been released years ago. And it's so crazy how we just had a government shutdown and we literally just opened it and the narrative has switched in 2.2 fucking seconds back to Epstein. That shit is crazy to me. Like everybody is just talking about Epstein. 2 weeks ago, we was worried about if the planes was going to land correctly. But now we talking about Epstein again. And this shit is just so crazy. Look, release the fucking files. Whoever's involved with that shit, may they rot in fucking hell. I don't give a fuck about that shit. I want my country to be back intact. That shit has no burden on what the fuck's really going on in this world, man. And
but you see what I'm saying? Bill Gates has every financial resource Trump had. They threw his name out there like goddamn like 4-5 times. No one cared. They used it as loose as they felt.
I
agree. You
agree.
see what I'm saying? Like they can do
I
that
care.
with everyone.
Arrest his ass.
I'm saying they can do
Arrest
that
his
with
ass.
they can do that with everyone. He's one of the most wealthiest men
But
on
see,
this planet.
Bill Gates should have been gone for multiple other reasons. That's just extra.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
So
Many.
that's what I'm saying. I'm just ready to just move forward. This shit just distractions, bro.
Slim, you keep saying like why
Wealthy people out of control.
Hold on. Slim, you keep saying why they're saying this. I want you to see this so you understand why. The reason that this is happening now is because Mike Johnson kept a Democratic congresswoman from being basically, I forgot the word, a congressperson, whatever the word it is, where they make them the congressperson. But I'm gonna play the video of what she says, and they were able to get that amount of votes. That's why this is happening right now.
Individuals should not be able to unilaterally obstruct the swearing in of a duly elected member of Congress for political reasons. Just this morning, House Democrats released more emails showing that Trump knew more about Epstein's abuses than he previously acknowledged. It's past time for Congress to restore its role as a check and balance on this administration and fight for we, the American people. I will sign the discharge petition right now to release the Epstein files.
So that's why it's happening now. Mia, did you know that Mike Johnson was keeping this lady from being? Yeah. So you want to explain it? Yeah.
So essentially, I feel like I'm telling you, they have this government shutdown for a reason. I mean, all of there's so many moving parts, and they had this whole government shutdown for a reason. But basically, her vote would have been the determining factor for essentially Congress to supersede anything for the courts and release all of these files that have been closed, allegedly. My biggest thing is I agree with Slim. I do find it incredibly convenient because 24 hours ago, the Democrats were very upset at their own and calling for Chuck Schumer to be primaried and all of these things because they didn't get what they wanted out of the shutdown, which nobody ever gets what they want out of the shutdown. And then conveniently, after all of that bad press and after all those lies and after all those hashtags and all those people upset, conveniently now, Jeffrey Epstein, those just 3, they only dropped 3 emails. Mind you, the GOP dropped 20,000, allegedly never before seen today. They went through and declassified 20,000, allegedly. I haven't viewed them. I'm just reading the headlines. But the Dems just did 3 emails, 3 sentences apiece on each email. So I feel like it's very convenient. I feel like everybody's being disingenuous, and I feel at this point in time we just won't know, which is so sad because we as the people deserve to know that Congresswoman is correct. We do deserve to know. But I feel like the Dems are just as nasty as the Republicans right now, because they're not doing this because they care, because they want their victims advocates. They're doing this because their asses are on the line and their constituents are upset because they didn't get the healthcare subsidies that they promised they would get. And now all of those people went through all that heartache for like 42 days for nothing.
So y'all saying that everyone that went on the island deserves to go to prison. Here's another person that was on the island.
Jeffrey Epstein's jet, were you?
I was on Jeffrey Epstein's jet 2 times. I was on it in 1993, and I was on it and I went to Florida with my wife and 2 children to visit my mom over Easter. My wife had some kind of relationship with Ghislaine Maxwell, and they offered us a ride to Palm Beach. So I went then, and then on another occasion, I flew again with my family, with I think 4 of my children, and Mary, my wife, to Rapid City, South Dakota, to go fossil hunting for a weekend. And but otherwise, I was never on his jet alone. I've been very open about this from the beginning. This was in '93, so it was 30 years ago. It was before anybody knew about Jeffrey Epstein's, his nefarious issues. And I agree with you that all of this information should be released. And we should get real answers on what happened to Jeffrey Epstein and any of the high-level political people that he was involved with. All of that should be open to the public. It should be absolutely transparent. And, I don't see why any of those records would have any redactions in them. Why would we be hiding that from the American public?
Well, you might not.
All right, Doc. So you saying that they need to come out and say somebody's name directly, but with a federal grand jury, if I got one witness and they say, hey, it was him, he was there, that's all you need to get life in prison. So with RFK also being part of Trump's administration and somehow being connected to this island, do you feel like that's more evidence? Because all you need is some evidence to say this is some type of conspiracy. Let's drop a RICO on these guys.
Everybody, man, make sure y'all in the comments, make sure y'all tap and like the screen. Nah, because this nigga a politician, so he a liar. We can't trust him. We can't. What we gonna put him up there and what lie to you? He probably been on the jet 30 times. You think he gonna answer up to 30 sound wild if he would have said 30, right? If he say 2, it sound like a mistake, don't it? You know what I'm saying? Back in 93 and shit like that, before they was doing all the trafficking. Nah, man, he probably was on the jet. He know what was going on. He gonna get up there and lie to save his own skin, and then they just gonna all get to pointing the finger at each other. They're gonna be like, nah, let me tell you what he did. You know what I'm saying? Like, none of them are gonna get up there if they went and tell the truth, because they're gonna be implicating themselves. If you on a jet going to an island where they trafficking underage women, at what point did you not get back and raise your hand and say, yo, what they doing over there is wild? You know what I'm saying? Like, so if you condoning it, you're a part of it.
Well, somebody was going to get a pardon from Trump that's connected to this case. So this is what she had to say, or what people said she was saying.
Democrats say documents from a whistleblower show this woman, Ghislaine Maxwell, is in the process of seeking a commutation from the White House. Remember, she's serving 20 years for sex trafficking minors alongside Epstein and was moved to that lower security prison camp not long after meeting with a top DOJ official to talk about the Epstein case. She says she's much happier there, according to recent emails obtained by NBC News. The White House tonight says the president hasn't thought about pardoning Maxwell, but he certainly has not ruled it out yet, despite growing anger and frustration from Epstein survivors, including the family members of Virginia Giuffre, Epstein and Maxwell's most prominent accuser, who died by suicide earlier this year.
So, Heaven, he hasn't pardoned her, but he hasn't ruled it out. She got moved to a better prison, a better facility with better amenities. And now there's basically saying that Trump may give her a pardon. Like, what reason does Trump have to give Ghislaine Maxwell a pardon? Someone's been accused of such heinous acts.
She wasn't accused. She was found guilty. And Jeffrey Epstein was also found guilty. They were not accused, mind you. So there's already proof and evidence of these things. The biggest problem is that sweetheart deal that was given. And that's most likely why no one's been prosecuted, because in that sweetheart deal, that was part of the deal. I digress. I don't know. All of it's just disturbing. It's sick. And anybody involved has to go.
So Republican
And that the only reason that they're gonna give her any type of pardon is because that's the way that they're gonna say it was a hoax. It was a hoax. It was a hoax. So she's got to get let out of jail. It was a Democratic hoax. But
okay. So,
was the trial a hoax? I don't think so. But,
right. So these Republican commentators basically were going against Trump, which is surprising because they're normally on the right. So I'm gonna let y'all see this and y'all tell me what y'all think.
Screwed up. I mean, she has. That's not in dispute. She's royally screwed up. And the president is just forgiving her because she's a loyal soldier and, he likes her and he doesn't want to go through the messy confirmation process of getting somebody else in there. So that's possible. That's definitely a possible number one. And there's no there in the files anyway, right? Like the way she screwed up was overpromising when she didn't have the goods, and she genuinely doesn't have the goods. And so the big mistake was overpromising, and the president doesn't really care about that mistake. Or there is something there and it's being covered up and the president blessed it, right? But I didn't say, or there's a child sex ring that he's actively covering up, because the truth is I think there's some middle ground between 1 and 2, you're 1 and 2, of there is something in there, more could be disclosed, and it's something short of there's a massive pedophile ring that they're covering up. Like, it would have some names, those men would have to defend themselves. Maybe the administration doesn't think it's a fair position to put them in. Maybe there are questions about the accusers. Maybe there are like half-hearted allegations in there that, normally a DOJ would not put out, but feels like it kind of might have to, given all the promises that have been made by Pam and prior to taking office, Cash and Dan rattling about this. So I think there could be a middle ground.
Slim, Ben Shapiro and Megyn Kelly are on the right. So why are they saying it's a hoax? Why are they saying that it's possible?
At the end of the day, Americans just want to know. That's just where we are today. To my point, I don't really think it's that relevant because they just bring it up on a convenience. If we can all sit on this panel and say that Diddy is the only one that should be in prison for the allegations that he went to basically jail for, we'll all be fucking lying. We all know there was more people implicated in what he did. The crazy part is only one person went to jail. Nobody's talking about that shit no more. Over with. Diddy's doing 4 years. Nobody think about who was with him. Nobody think about who was at the freak off parties. Ain't nobody having no interviews with no victims. It's just over. But just for some reason, this is coming back up. The bottom line is, whatever we're waiting for, we're not going to receive. We just have to come to terms with that shit.
Okay, so I'm going to play the clip where Trump's press secretary calls it a hoax.
Requests. So this administration has done more than any, and it just shows how this is truly a manufactured hoax by the Democrat Party. For now, they're talking about it all of a sudden because President Trump is in the Oval Office. But when Joe Biden was sitting in there, the Democrats never brought this up. This wasn't an issue that they cared about because they actually don't care about the victims in these cases. They care about trying to score political points against President Trump, as we have, of course, seen with this government shutdown.
So, Mia, does this make it where people have less trust in government institutions? Because You know, as soon as they come out and say, "Oh, it's a hoax," you know, the constituents and other politicians come out and say this, and then other people are like, you know, can we even trust the government? Like, what is this doing to democracy and the trust with government institutions?
I think in general, Americans don't trust the government. I think a lot of people of color are trained to not trust the government because the government's really never done anything for us anyways. But I think the big thing is all Americans now, all groups just don't trust the government anymore. Like Slim said, we know something happened. What happened? Obviously, the details are we don't know, but we know something happened. And the more they try to say it's a hoax, or the more they try to say nothing happened, the more that it just reconfirms what we know. It's like, we understand something happened. You're just not going to tell us for whatever your reasons are. We're never going to know this information. And I definitely think in the court of public opinion, the government is definitely losing. Most of us don't trust them. I don't trust a single thing anybody from the government tells me. If somebody were to knock on my door and say, "I'm from the government, I'm here to help," I'm shutting the door and locking it, because nothing good has ever come from the United States government, ever, at this point in time. And they have shown continuously over and over and over again that they will lie, cheat, and steal for whatever ends justifies the means for them. And I think collectively as a whole, we have figured that out together.
Well, this Republican was accused of running away on CNN when the reporter wanted to ask him about the Epstein files.
You run a $5 bill down the hall, and politicians are chasing it. And that's exactly what the lobbyists do. We've sold this country down.
Well, it looks like we lost this politician. I was going to ask him about Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell's parent preferential treatment. We're not going to have a chance to do that now. Hopefully next time. Congressman Tim Burchett, our thanks to him.
Doc, you think he ran away on purpose?
Yeah, I like that nigga. Hey, yo, if you don't want to answer something, or if you just don't want to be held to your tape, he said, "Yo, we're gonna end this interview early." You know what I'm saying? So, you know, that might be the best move for his political career. I could see this going on so long because the trial was so long ago that you may have already said your opinion, or your opinions change, or you may not have certain principles you still want to speak on for as long. Because I mean, if you're a politician, you've probably been dealing with this for what, 10 years now, maybe the trial, to when he died, how long it's been? What has it been, like 8 years, maybe? You know what I'm saying? 10 years, somewhere along that. So yeah, I probably would have logged off on their ass too. You know what I'm saying? It's over with.
So, Heaven, this is what you're asking for. And supposedly the Democrats might deliver. They're going to release more files.
Get this information.
We actually just received all of these emails, a total of about 23,000 documents, actually a few days ago, so last week. And we've been going through, our team, of course, through all of these very carefully over the last few days. We obviously released some today. We'll be releasing additional documents likely later today. The important thing here is that we know, and we've been demanding, that Donald Trump and the DOJ release the full Epstein files. In what's been released today, which obviously is some quite serious, I think, connections between what Donald Trump may have known. There's communication between Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell, obviously making some claims about Donald Trump spending significant time, hours, with possibly one of the victims. There's also disturbing emails there about Trump and Jeffrey Epstein. The people can read for themselves. I think what's important right now is that we want to know why Donald Trump spent the entire campaign saying that he would release the files. And now that he's in the White House, there is a massive cover-up going on. The survivors deserve the truth.
Somebody lying.
He sounds like he's doing the same thing, though. Like, he just said, we're going through it and we're going to put out. Yo, you bird feeding the same thing that you asking for. So you can't say, we want all the files and you ain't putting out all. Why are you disseminating the information you want to give to the people? Just give people all the information. He's the person he's calling out.
Right. I guess they all got to vote on it. But Heaven, you basically talk about them releasing the files. I feel like even if they release all of the files, people are still going to be like, somebody's lying. This is everything. So what is there ever going to be enough?
At this point, probably not, because you can't trust either side. One side says it's a hoax 1 second, and the next second it's something else, or the Democrats made it up to make Trump look bad, but somebody's actually in prison for it, and somebody committed suicide, allegedly, in his cell over it. But it's not real. It's a hoax. It was all made up. And then the other side is like, we're gonna get the files. We deserve the files, but they already had files. And they're getting the files from the Republicans, and then they're going through them, and then they're releasing them to us. Really? We're not going to get the truth, and they all need to be taken out because clearly they are all corrupt. I don't mean taken out by like unalived. I mean, taken out of office, out of leadership positions, because clearly they're all corrupted. None of them are for the people, and they've shown that every single time, whether it's on the files, whether it's on our health care, whether it's on the SNAP benefits, whether it's on anything. They don't care about us, Democrats or Republicans. So they're just sitting back laughing, watching us. Look at these people. Let's feed them a little bit more. Mm-hmm. Give them a little bit more. Mm-hmm.
Mia, what do you want to add on this?
I agree. I agree with pretty much what everybody's saying. I will say though, I find this whole thing to be crazy because like these people are filthy rich. They have access to the best PR. And I feel like they could have, a good PR person would have said, just admit you knew him, admit you tried to help these girls, and he could have avoided all of this. If he had just admitted he knew what was going on, because one of these emails are very specific about him saying he asked her to stop, Maxwell to stop. Like he knew about the girls and he wanted her to stop. And right there is a very positive PR. So I don't understand why, as just from like a PR standpoint, why you wouldn't run with that. Why he wouldn't have said, I knew what was going on. I helped the FBI. I was an informant. I kicked him out of, Mar-a-Lago. I had asked them to stop. I turned over everything and just kind of like played ball, because he could have turned it from this negative death by 1,000 cuts to being more positive. But instead, here we are. It's death by 1,000 cuts. Everybody's angry. Everybody's pissed off about this. And now even if he isn't guilty, he looks guilty. He's never going to be able to clear his name because we are always going to assume they're hiding something. Because they keep breadcrumbing us, as Heaven is saying. They keep giving us these little breadcrumbs. So now, even if he is innocent, he's never going to be able to prove it.
Right. So what seems to be the overall issue is that men liking younger women. So this guy, Kevin Gates, is going viral basically because he has a younger girlfriend. So this is what he said with someone that commented on his live saying, why are you with a younger chick?
Don't no nigga want no old washed up ass bitch, man. What nigga don't want a young hoe, man? Huh? You don't like it, eat my dick, man. Straight up. You hear me? The fuck? What nigga wants something that been, you heard me? Don't nobody go, man, nigga have emotion. We ain't going to the used car line, man. What the fuck? But see, that be, there don't be nothing but that washed up shit on that, like, man, hey, bitch, yeah. Nigga, damn near, yeah. Nigga old enough to be your daddy, yeah. Of course. Yeah, nigga want some, yeah. The fuck? Got more sense than, hey. Got sense enough to know how to listen.
Doc, you kind of look like Kevin Gates. What do you feel about that? How you feel about what he said? Because I feel like Jeffrey Epstein. He got the Jeffrey Epstein thought process.
I think there's nothing wrong with dudes liking whatever their preference is. If they like younger women, that's their thing. It's a point where it becomes predatory. And I think if you can't distinguish that difference, that's kind of weird. I'm 36 years old. I say my age. Going to find a girl that's 18 or something just out of high school or something, that would be weird to me. You know what I'm saying? I have kids. My son is 15. He in high school. My daughter in high school. Like, it's a point where it becomes predatory. If you want, I mean, she's old enough. It's legal. So, you know what I'm saying? I'm not going to argue with you about the legalities of it, but it becomes a point where, like, bro, there is a line, and you know when you have to draw it. Like, I'm not gonna. If a dude, like, I got friends who date 26-year-olds, 25-year-olds. I'm not giving them a hard time about that. You know what I'm saying? But there is a point where, like, all right, bro, you a little, you know what I'm saying? Too. Come on, bro, you tripping.
I think I know who you
But
talking about, Doc.
yeah, come on, man. You know what I'm saying?
He
The boy love me
literally was
between,
like,
boy love
yeah,
me
I'm old
between
enough to be
5-year-old
your
notice.
daddy. That's gross.
But
If you say that,
but
like, you know you old enough to be that baby's daddy, what's wrong with you?
But it
Ooh.
depends on when you get. What if she's 50 and what if he's 50 and she's 30? He's still old enough to be her dad.
That's still wrong, in my personal opinion. That's still
Some
gross.
30-year-old women like 50-year-old men. At that age,
I
though,
personally
she's old
wouldn't
enough.
want
She's old enough. Yeah, you wouldn't, but at 30, she's old enough to make a
to dad.
better
Like,
informed
that's your
decision.
dad. Like, that's, you have some
I think
therapy.
19-year-old, 20-year-old, 18-year-old women, I think they aren't at the maturity level to make an informed decision, and to go out and kind of have that relationship is a little bit predatory. But we got, you know what I'm saying? So, but that just ain't my bag. But hey, do as you please if it's legal.
So just so people know their ages, she's 26, Kevin Gates is 39. And he responded with this video after that.
Be funny, baby.
Yeah.
I would lie about my age to the ladies. Man, I'm telling you. That's why we be having to do fingerprint scans and all that.
He's looking real happy for a man that don't take care of his kids.
Oh my God.
He looking real happy for a man who ain't vibing by Islam. I'm pretty sure Islam says you gotta take care of those kids and you gotta take care of that wife. I'm sorry, he looking real happy. He ain't a very good Islamic man. I don't know. I've seen those Habibis. Their wives are walking around in Gucci and Prada. Their places are paid. They're in Dubai. I seen how Habibis work. I don't know. Maybe it's the black Habibi thing and they don't take care of their women. I don't know. But I'm saying he looks real comfortable because we saw the court documents. He ain't paying for nothing for those kids.
That's probably why
I'm just saying.
That's probably need a young chick. Slim, you be lying.
I ain't gonna front though. These old women will goddamn get on your motherfucking nerves. You know what I'm saying? So you got to get you like a 25.
Hey, not too much on us old women over here, okay? Okay, not too much on us old women. We can be annoying, yes. Duh.
Slim, you be lying to them shorties about your age, bro?
Nah, I just tell them straight up. But I mean, shit. I don't know, man. I mean, I'm with Doc on the age limit. There has to be a limit. But honestly, I don't think that Kevin Gates, 26 and 39? That shit ain't bad at all.
That's not that bad.
Yeah, that ain't
That's
bad.
not bad.
That's not that bad.
Like, I just think
He's
that
not
somebody
old enough to be our
hating
dad.
or they just clout chasing. You know what I mean? But I mean, yo, it's like this. If that person makes you happy, again, long as it ain't that predatory or shit, you good, man. There should be a limit, though. There should be. You should, as a man, you should know, like, nah, that number, I can't mess with that number. You know what I mean? So.
Somebody just put the secret to seem younger. So what I feel like the issue with the Jeffrey Epstein thing is that he had to keep a secret because you have to you're doing something bad or something you'll be embarrassed about if people knew. So this person, I always thought that they were gay, and this is when they talk about their sexuality.
Feel the pressure of the culture of church. It's that there's church and there's the culture of church. You know, like the church is the hospital, right? Now everybody should be welcomed, right? Everybody should be welcomed. You know, for example, you know, if homosexuality is a sin, then adultery is a sin. Fornication is a sin. Yes. Divorce is a sin. And none of them are bigger than the other. And so that's why I have never understood homophobia. I've never understood it because if you, as a heterosexual man, what I have done in my life, what in the world gives me any justification to think I'm just confused. Like, I get confused, my guy. I don't understand how we do not see ourselves as sick patients that all need the doctor. But I don't understand it because my thoughts, the things sometimes that come up in my heart, the in me that I see, I don't understand how I could ever have time to have conversations about who you sleeping with. I need medicine. I need the doctor. And if you want to go to the hospital with me, you can come with me. But I'm not going to stand and say, you need the doctor. I need the doctor more. You can come with me. You can come with me and I can tell you how dope he is, but I can't condemn you and invite you at the same time. I'm trying to win people. I'm trying to win my son. I'm trying to win my family. I'm trying to win people. I'm trying to win people to Jesus, man. I'm trying to show people the love and grace of God. I mean, Carlos, most of my life, I've had my sexuality questioned. I'm little. You know what I'm saying? I think I like clothes a little bit.
Heaven, you're an ordained minister. You say it all the time. Do you know what that is? So, could Jeffrey Epstein have came to you, to get prayer, and you've been able to forgive him for everything and say, Jeffrey, it's okay. Like, you did all these things. Like, God forgives you.
That's not my place to forgive anyone. That's God's place to forgive. Who am I? But just another being.
For sure. Did y'all think Kurt?
No, I wouldn't.
Man, Kurt
I mean,
got a
he's too
little
fruity, though.
metrosexual and you know what I'm saying? He ain't fooling me. And I agree with him on parts of it though. Like bro, I don't care how gay no other man, no other woman, no nothing is, bro. I'm not even looking at that, paying attention to that. It don't come across my radar. Like it just ain't it ain't my cup of tea. But hey, do as you please. Like, you know what I mean? Like that's your life. Like, so I think people who overly like, you know what I'm saying? Like some people don't like it. It's cool if you don't like it too. But like the people who go out and like think they gotta hold the sign to protest gay people or to me that's a little much, bro. Like it don't affect my life like that. You know what I'm saying? Like if it started affecting my life, we would have a different conversation. But somebody living their life however they see fit, man, I don't give a fuck.
Mia, how do you feel about these people having to keep a secret? That's why I played that clip because I don't know. It seems like Kurt Franklin said he's not gay, but I feel like there's people that hide things that they like or whatever because they're embarrassed or because of society. So do you feel like if, society wasn't so harsh, maybe Jeffrey Epstein could have sought help and been able to talk about what he liked?
I mean, I feel compassion for people who are unable to live their true legal selves. If you were legally able to do this and you feel that due to societal reasons that you are unable to be your true legal self, I have compassion for you. But there are just certain things that I personally morally think are unforgivable. That's why I'm not religious. I will flip this shit over if I end up in heaven and I'm next to a pedophile, bro. No, you are not forgiven to me. You're not forgiven to me. I'm sorry. That's why I'm not religious. I will flip all this shit over if I look over and there's a pedophile or Ted Bundy's there because he said he was sorry on his deathbed before he got the lethal injection. Nope. Not me. Not me, Adam. I know where I'm going. I know where I'm going because I don't forgive nobody. I hold a grudge. I'm sorry. Like I said, if you are legally able to do these things, pedophilia is not legal. That's why I'm saying legal. I feel sad for anybody in compassion if they can't be their true selves. Like if you're LGBTQ and you can't come out for whatever reason, I feel a lot of compassion. That's not good. Nobody should feel that they can't be their truest legal self. But for everybody else, if it's illegal, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Like, nope, I draw a hard line when it comes to exploitation of children.
What if it's legal? What if it's legal in a Muslim country?
And then, I understand. Sometimes karma happens, and
Child marriage is legal in
maybe.
numerous states. Here in the United States, like the youngest, I think, is 13. You can marry a 13-year-old in certain states. So
I don't
we don't need to
condone
talk. We don't
anything.
need to make it Muslim countries. We do it here in America.
So Slim, Trump comes.
President all the way down, apparently.
Trump comes to you. He says, "Slim, I'm sorry, I did it." Personally, do you forgive him?
Nah.
Okay.
Because I realize you should have been told us.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you. I definitely agree with you on that.
But what I do think is some shit gonna happen, and I think that Barack gonna be named in them files. A lot of people ain't gonna want to believe that shit. Just saying.
For sure. Well, if you're watching right now, hit that subscribe button and press that notification bell to know when we go live. I'm just gonna play a clip. So if Trump does get convicted, hopefully he has a friend like this.
Oh my God! Man.
Come here, man. Come sit down. Let me put it on you. Come here, bro.
He is a big baby.
I know. I love him. Come here. Let me put it on you.
Poppy, turn around.
Hey, man.
Oh. And hurt now. You about to.
I love you, man.
So that guy bought a chain with the guy's mother's face on it. His mother died while he was in prison. So, Slim, what's your final thoughts?
Man, good show. I want people to just start pretty much doing their own research, analyze what's going on in the world. Don't believe and don't just take people's opinion. Please pray, do what you got to do. There's a lot of things in this world that we're fighting. A lot of individuals are fighting certain things that we may not know about, but everybody is fighting a war. So what I want to say is love everybody. See you on the next Man Cave. Peace.
Mia, what's your final thoughts?
This was a great episode. If you are not already liking, subscribing, and following us, please do so now. And definitely hit the button so you know when we are on. We do this Monday through Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I would say for my final thought is, as Ken Billions would say, this is all theater. It's all theater. It's all fake. It's all contrived. Democrats, Republicans are not doing anything for anybody. They're all just trying to save face because they're all in these files and they're all complicit. They truly, truly, truly do not care about any of us. They're taking the dark money from all those dark entities the same as everybody else. And I think a lot of people forget that. So I think everybody should just remember, if they're a politician, they've already sold their soul. Don't believe them.
For sure. Dot, what's your final thoughts?
Make sure everybody likes, subscribes. Go follow some of the other cast members. A lot of them make content. It's pretty entertaining. If you're into stuff like this, they go live. They give you a lot of information that you're looking for. Show up tomorrow to check out the new party. 8 p.m. Eastern time. Appreciate everybody for coming. Everybody in the chat. Everybody have a safe week and be blessed.
Evan, what's your final thoughts?
Final thoughts. We're never going to get the full information. And there are so many world leaders and dignitaries and royalty that have been to that island and other areas, because it's not just that island. Clearly, we have the Diddy parties, and I'm sure a lot more that we don't know about. Power to the people. We need to come together now more than ever as we see this divide, and clearly our representatives aren't representing us. So if you identify as a Republican or a Democrat, just take a second and see what really is in your heart and what's dividing you truly, because at the end of the day, we all kind of want the same things: life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
For sure. We do this every Monday through Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern. This is a great show. We'll keep track of what's going on with this whole Epstein controversy, and come back tomorrow to tune in with us again at 8 p.m. Eastern. If more information comes out, we'll definitely have it for you. Good night, Man Cave.